Hi guys, welcome. This is my first time doing a live stream, so hopefully the tech goes well for this. Um, while we wait for people to tune in, introduce yourself in the chat with your name, major, and year in college. And I cannot read the chat, so let me try to set that up so I can. Okay, I see the chat now. Hello, Victoria, Kayla, and Kim. I'll let people trickle in, but start the slideshow, and hopefully more people can join on. Yes, so here's my slideshow. And I just want to start off by introducing myself, welcoming people to this webinar. My name's Emily, and I graduated from UC Berkeley in 2017. Woo, go Bears! And it was with a bachelor's degree in operations research and management science. This major requires some explanation, as people who even go to Berkeley don't know that it exists. But to put it simply, it's a sister major to industrial engineering, and it's the study of optimization. I'm from Fullerton, California. Shout out to OC. And currently I work as a data analyst at GraceNote. It's a music metadata company. So if you think about all the album covers and information that automatically shows up in iTunes, that's basically what my company helps out with. And as you can see, the other careers I was interested in, it was a wide range of things, from product manager, consultant, supply chain engineer. And the reason behind that was that my major didn't lead to a clear career path, and I'm sure a lot of majors are like that. And in order to figure out what I wanted to do after college, I had to apply to a lot of different kinds of internships, do a lot of different kinds of interviews, and get different kinds of jobs, which helped me to get to where I am today. And I hope that my experience and knowledge can help you as well figure out what you want to do. I'm preaching to the choir here, but even if you're not actively looking for a job right now, you want a resume, because you'll need it for a job or internship or research position eventually. And when that time comes, you don't want to be scrambling last minute thinking, oh no, I have to start from scratch. No, you want one prepared that you can edit and tweak to put your best self forward. And the goal of a resume is to convince the hiring person that you have the right skills, or at least a good start for the specific job that you're applying for. And I want to emphasize a good start. Because I can see people, especially students, give up not applying to jobs because they get discouraged. They're like, I'm not qualified, or why do they want experience when I'm a student? But I say it doesn't hurt to to apply and let the recruiter judge whether you're qualified or not. What you have to do is put your best foot forward with a resume that shows that you have potential, and leave it up to that. And a good resume is really key because how long do you think a recruiter looks at a resume? Input your guesses in the chat and we'll see if anyone can guess correctly. And there's going to be a lag as I wait for people to type in the chat. I would be very surprised if anyone guesses this correctly. I hope someone can prove me wrong. Maybe there'll be a prize at the end for this person who gets the right one. Okay, I see people saying 30 seconds, 10 minutes, 10 seconds, 1 minute. Well, it is 10 to 15 seconds. It's a really short time. I think Mario got it. Woo, go Mario! And that means we only have 10 to 15 seconds to convince the recruiter that you're fit for the job. So we have our work cut out for us today, but we can do it. We can go through tried and true methods that help the recruiter get the most out of those 10 to 15 seconds. As my major was about optimization, like this is what I strive for. So let's take a step back, start from 0 and think about what a resume is for. A resume is for helping you get a job or internship of what you want to do. So first things first, you kind of have to figure out what you want, and this is to help this direct what kind of skills and experience you want to highlight. So for instance, for me in college, I didn't know what I wanted, but I had different career paths I wanted to explore, so I would create different resumes based on those career paths. Then based on that career path, I would list my skills and experiences that best fell into those different categories. Make sure you format for clarity, and there's an example of a resume right here on the slide, and if you want a template like this and other resources, fill out the Google form in the description box below. And trust me, you want this resource. You don't want to and you don't need to start from scratch unless you're a design person. Then you should create a custom template. And make sure that the resume is one page. In 10 to 15 seconds, no one's going to flip through a second page unless you're a PhD student. But for most students, one page suffices. In most cases, some people have a hard time even filling out that one page. So that's why we're going to go through it step by step to help you fill out different sections. So I'm going to go over this format called the chronological resume. And this is a tried and true format that helps the recruiter go through a logical flow to understand what you're coming from, what your skills and experiences are. It includes a header section with some personal information, sections for work experience, educational background, miscellaneous interest, skills, activities, and it uses bulleted text as opposed to paragraphs. People don't want to read, or it's hard to pick up information when you only have 10 to 15 seconds per resume. So bullet points get the point across faster and clearer. Now I'm going to just walk you guys through the different sections, starting from top to bottom. This is the header section. And make sure your name is large, 24 point size or bigger. They want to remember your name so they can link your resume with who you are. Secondly, use a professional email. No stardragon@gmail.com. Use your Berkeley email, especially if it's there for you, you use it, etc. Another don't is to not use an objective statement. So your objective statement should be clearly communicated through your skills and experiences. And the people who read your resume are busy, so adding a summary section will add more reading for them with little additional value 90% of the time. One exception to this rule is if you majored in MCB with no coding experience and you want to communicate that you're looking for a new start as a software engineer, this can be a chance to kind of explain yourself, especially if your resume doesn't seem to point itself to that career path you're looking for. The next section is education. Besides your school, the next most important thing is your graduation date. This is a screening mechanism, and it's important for both internships and new grads, as they're already thinking, oh, when will I need to offer a full-time offer if it's an internship leading to one, or when can they start working? The second is your major. So even if your career path doesn't relate to your major, they're interested in it, you can't change it, so just embrace it. A side note is that if your career path and your major don't align, make sure you have a story prepared for your interviews, because that's a way to communicate what you're looking for. And if you want to hear more interview tips, comment in that Google form down below in the description box and let me know. What's less important is coursework and GPA. You can refine your coursework later, but to be honest, most recruiters don't know what these courses mean. There can be non-tech recruiters recruiting for technical positions. They might not know what design visualization class is. So it's useful, but not that important. Secondly, don't put your GPA unless it's high. I would say high is a 3.5 or higher. You don't want to disadvantage yourself in this way unnecessarily. And you can let them know if they ask for it, if they're really interested, but I found a lot of times, in the working world, not that many people care about GPA. So the next section after education is experience. This is the most important section, so I'm going to spend a couple of slides talking about this because it's also the hardest section to fill out. So for experience, relevance is important. Okay, this is kind of breaking the chronological resume script a little bit, but logically just choose the experience that has the strongest impact and put that on the top and go from top to bottom, as the first one is the one they're going to remember. That's the one that's going to have the impact. Sections 2 and 3 are some basic information you need. This will be found in a resume checklist. Again, if you're interested, there'll be those kind of handouts if you fill out the Google form below. Make sure you keep this experience section short, max 3 to 4 bullets per experience, and max 1 to 2 lines per bullet. Make sure it's active with consistent tense and concise. Active words. They're compelling. They show you that you've made an impact. I'm going to go over this in the next slide because people have a hard time with this. But I want you to remember active words are important because every word counts. You only have one line per bullet. You need to get your point across. Active words will help you. Keep the tenses consistent. This is a detail people tend to overlook. So make sure you use past tense for previous work and present tense for current work. And lastly, impact. I'm a numbers person, and all the recruiters I talk to are also numbers people in the sense that they want to see measurable results. They want to see numbers, percentages, improvements. So it's okay to guess, but make sure you have these numbers. If you can add one in, add it in to show what kind of impact you made. So this is active versus passive words. So a passive word can be participated. Like that's an easy verb to use. You can participate in a research lab, you can participate in a conference or hosting a conference. But something that's active that shows impact is implemented, improved, expanded. And these are the words that recruiters are looking for to see that you are doing according to, you are not just there, taking up space, doing some duties, but you are improving, that you have these measurable results. So another method I wanted to talk about was the STAR method. So people have a hard time using active words. They have a hard time coming up with bullet points. They're like, I did stuff, I don't know how to talk about it. So this is called STAR. STAR stands for situation, task, action, and result. Situation is the context. What kind of position were you in? What was the background for this? What happened? Task is what was the problem? What was the task you had to undertake? Where did you need to rise up to the challenge? And the action is, what did you do about it? What did you do about the assignment or the thing that needed improvement? And the result is, what was the outcome? How did you measure that outcome? And while of course you can't include this in every single bullet point, and I wouldn't recommend that, but it's nice to have a structure like this to help articulate your experience in terms of impact rather than duties. Then the recruiter knows that you're a type of person who took steps to reach your goals. And this is also something that's really helpful for interviews as well. So here are some other sections you could include based on the jobs that you're applying for. This also helps if you have a hard time filling out a whole page. It's things like projects, skills, interests, honors and awards, leadership, teaching experience. And this can depend on what you have or in terms of experience or what's relevant to the position you're applying for. For instance, projects are really good at displaying technical prowess in a certain class, or technology you use, languages you used. While for instance, leadership experience can be great if you're applying to a job with more soft skills, a managerial position, something of that nature. Just list out what you have and figure out how to bucket it. And projects are really helpful, especially if your experience is not exceptional. And these skills are good for hard skills, like if you have more than one programming language, software, technology, etc. And just put everything down that you have a basic knowledge, in. It doesn't need to disclose your proficiency per se, you don't have to list it out like the skills here. You can always study up before an interview, but know that whatever you put on the resume is fair game for anyone to ask about. So you have a resume, you filled everything out, you have the experience, how do you tailor your resume? So what's really important is keywords and key phrases. In a job description, there are keywords that the hiring team has put in there. And one of the main tools a recruiter actually uses is called a Boolean string search. So this is basically custom search formulas with different keywords you put to find resumes with those keywords. If they don't have those keywords, those are discarded. And it's basically, is this word here? Yes or no? So knowing that they have this tool and they use it, you don't want to not include something that they're specifically looking for. So do the work of the recruiter and spell it out for them. Don't make them think. I want to drive this point home because it's you know the rubric for a test, but you don't follow it. And that's exactly what you do if you just submit a resume blind. You now know how the recruiting process works a little bit, and you can use that to your advantage. One good tip, one of the best things you can do while drafting a resume is have a job description of the job you're applying for on the screen, next to the Word doc or whatever you use to make your resume. So it's okay to literally copy word from word what the job description says if you indeed have that experience. Say you don't have a job description to look at, then just choose a job that seems to best fit what you're looking for, and go from there and edit it little by little based on the actual jobs you do want to apply for. So here's an example. If the job description says software developer needed, Java experience is required, you can say in your resume, detail-oriented software developer with 5 years of experience, proficient in Java and C++. This is not plagiarism. They want you to read and respond to the skills that they're looking for, so basically copy and paste according to how it fits who you are and what experience you have. Next, I want to give you samples of different resumes. It's from the same person, but it's catered to different tracks. As a forewarning, these are technical resumes, but you can cater it to the career path you're thinking of. And if you have questions about your specific career path, again, there's a Google form down below. You can fill it out. Have write in the comment section what you're looking for, and I can respond back to you through that form. So yeah, this is one person's resume. They have a bachelor's in mechanical engineering, but there's two different tracks. One is for computer science and one is for mechanical engineering. So as you can see, the relevant coursework is different and even the experience is different. So the top first experience is an experience that best highlights the skills that they have. So for this CS resume, they put in the languages they worked with, Bootstrap, HTML, CSS. For the mechanical engineering resume, they have a mechanical engineering internship. So it's very clear what they're looking for. Yeah, so I'm wrapping up near the end. Here are some final don'ts. I know there's a lot of info thrown at you, but I'll be giving out a resume checklist for those of you who signed up in the Google form. So don't have large blank spaces. It should look full at first impression. And trust me, even if you're a student, even if you don't have that much job experience, there's ways to make a resume look full. Don't have multiple pages. I know this is redundant, but one page only. Like, we don't want to spend more than one page on it. And it sounds obvious, but don't have any sort of typo. Here's a quote to kind of iterate this point. Sending a beautiful resume with an error in it is like going to an interview with spinach in your teeth. So please spell check, proofread, and have other people proofread your resume before you send it out. You don't want to be known as the person with spinach in your teeth showing up for an interview. In the same way, you don't want to be the person with an error in your resume. And it always happens when you don't check. So have at least 2 people double check your work. As I mentioned, there's going to be a resume checklist that'll have some of the do's and don'ts. You can proofread, have your friends proofread. Also, if you are interested in a lab time where you get specific feedback based on your career path, based on your resume that you have right now, fill out that Google form. That's the only way I know what people want, how to contact you. And yeah, like, I want to be a resource to you so we can continue having more conversations if you guys are interested. So what are recruiters looking for? I want to kind of end it so we can zoom out a little bit and think about like how can a resume fit into this? They want to know, like, do I want to work with you? Will you fit the company culture? Is there a proven track of success at prior jobs? Is there quantifiable individual and team-oriented results? And I know it's easy to get discouraged thinking, I'm just a student, I'm just a new grad, I don't have experience for this job. but it's not just about skills and experience, and there's more to you than that. Therefore, you want to pass this resume screen to prove other aspects, i.e., like what you lack in experience, you can make up in being someone people want to work with. Like that gets more easily conveyed in an interview. So in your resume, you might want to highlight some other things, like having individual and team-oriented results or success at prior jobs that can help you get to that next interview, so people have a better picture of who you are and what you can bring to the table. Yeah, so thank you for coming to this workshop. That wraps it up. Again, if you're interested in any of the things I mentioned, such as a sample resume template, a resume checklist, or want to hear about more career webinars or opportunities, fill out the link in the description section and we can email it out to you. Thanks for coming.